Alright, so I have all the parts here. Here's the other video transmitter. Power distribution board. The 4 ESCs. Because of course we're building a quadcopter. The ever important 4 motors. I'm using the Emax multi-copter rotor. The kV rating I think is a 2300. Yeah, 2300 kV, and it's a MT2204. Not sure what that means yet, but I'm learning. Alright, so these are brand new, 4 brand new motors. This quad will go for about $400 or $500, depending on what you put into it. I'm just going standard with the version 2 right now. Top plate. Got the 2 booms. All the punch outs for the side and the flight controller. The good old aluminum now props or motor casings. Before they weren't the greatest. They worked, but these are much cooler. I got the midnight black this time. Last time I got the blues, and this is the first versacopter with the Del rim, or the linear. I don't know how to say it, but they kind of worked. One of them in the atrocious build process on the first one, I had to manufacture a plate of my own design, which was basically I don't know. They're in here. A washer that I drilled out in the correct spot so that I could get up and running again. But I've had some problems. Flight Test has been good to me though. Shout out to them. Alright, so we'll dig into that a little bit later. I have the 2 battery straps and the GoPro, or in my case the Mobius straps. Another flight controller. I thought I had busted one of them, and I had put on a new antenna. I ripped the antennas out and I soldered them in for my beater quad, and it worked. I didn't think it did. I first put it in, and I put the connections in wrong, and it kept flipping on me. So I was like, what the heck? You know, I did something wrong with soldering the antennas in, I thought. But then I rethunk it, if that's a word, and I looked at it again, and I found out that I had put in the connections wrong. I had wired the ESCs to the wrong positions on the flight controller. So when I reconfigured it, it worked. So I was super happy about that, because my horrible soldering job of just laying it across the diodes, I guess you call them, with the antennas, worked. And then I put electrical tape over the rest of it, because I couldn't get the casing, this casing back onto it to look nice and neat. But it all worked, which is cool, which is what I was hoping for, and it's neat because you can kind of dig into these things, and I mean, you have to be careful, but you can fix them. You know, you can do your own corrections or your own thing with a lot of these components, and that's why it's cool, because it's such a component driven machine that, you know, one thing goes bum on you, oh, all right, you just replace it. It takes some money, but if you can get yourself ahead of the game and get a machine that's flying and up and running, and then, you know, buy parts as needed, it's manageable. Just don't be crazy and bust them all the time, if you can help it. But yeah, you know, I got to learn how to do that, I guess. Case in point, ESC down. All right, well, let me continue the build here. The rest of the parts. Can't forget the camera plate, but I'm going to use it as a guard, like I do on my other beater, or on my good FPV one, but that's not up and running right now. And then, of course, the video cable, so that you can put the transmitter in a certain position. I've got some knuckles coming in the next couple of days, which I'm probably going to put them on, so I'll finish the build with those. But for right now, got the soldering iron up and running. I'm going to put some ESCs on. Let's wish me luck. And I'm going to tin the wires, but I'll, of course, clip them first. First one up. I'm using the BL Holly 12 amps ESCs, and they have the bullet connectors, and the, I don't know what they call this, the XT30 connector, but we're going to clip that off so that we can solder it in onto the ESC. So let's do that. I always go negative first with everything. I don't know, it's just something that I do, I guess. Bye. Alright, so we've got these clipped. These are still a little bit soldered. Get rid of the solder. Off. Some of the wire. Not much. I've learned my lesson. A little bit wire is better, because it'll adhere to the plate, and then if you do a good enough job, it kind of makes it rigid up to a certain point if you tin it right, and then you can kind of maneuver the ESC where you need to maneuver it to make it lay correctly inside your craft. All right, so well, let's do it. Bring this here. Kind of make it look down. I don't know if we'll see, but we'll see.